Hey guys, Rob and Ingrid here. We're about to see Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, you haven't seen the other movies, have you?
No, but I generally know what Deadpool is about, mostly from all of the memes on the internet.
Yep, well, I've seen them all, so I can't wait to see. From what I keep on hearing, though, it's Cameo City. Like, what? It's basically what people kept thinking Multiverse of Madness was going to be. Yeah, so can't wait. Can't wait to see what cameos are.
I'm ready to blow off some steam, and this seems like just the movie to do it.
Yep, see you guys on the other end. Hey guys, we just got CNN. It was good.
It was really good.
Really fun. And hey, for me, having seen all the movies, it really added up. But even for you, it was very good.
Yeah, it was very good, even though I hadn't really had much of the context for this part of the MCU, which, since it sort of had a problem with not really being able to be digestible unless you've seen, like, 5 other TV shows and, like, 3 other movies, that's kind of impressive.
Oh, and they did a pretty good job. You know, like the TVA, you don't need to know that much about them. And anything that was connected to Loki, they just throw kind of Loki, and that from Loki season 1, episode 5. Okay, further, Ryan Reynolds still nailing it as Deadpool, just hilarious, but also bringing more of his more emotional side here.
Yeah, it's like for a character and a general shtick that tends to rely a lot on like crass irony, leaning on the fourth wall, a lot of commentary. This movie was very sincere.
It was. And Hugh Jackman, oh boy, this is some of his best. I mean, okay, Logan was him in his most dramatic acting best, but this felt like we finally got the Wolverine that people have been long wanting to see and thought they never would get. And we got it on multiple levels. We'll get to that. But, okay. Opens up in media res with, like, we're going to respect Logan. No, we're not. As they dig him up. But to be fair, that doesn't negate the movie. Can we agree to that?
No.
It's disturbing, but it's like, he's already dead. Really? What does he care?
And that does give us one of the most incredible opening credits.
Bye.
Oh, yeah.
And you see him dancing and everything.
Yes, he was doing all of the right moves. It's just like, it was the last song I was expecting to be in the opening credits reel, but I'm like, I'm not complaining about getting shot back to my preteen dance party days.
My teen, and I just love how he just used every bit of Wolverine's body to stab him.
Spare.
The claws. But then we cut to a little bit, we find out almost right after Deadpool 2, turns out he tried to go to the MCU and to join the Avengers, and
yeah, that didn't go so well.
But to be fair, it wasn't ever going to work.
It was never going to work.
From everything you've seen of Deadpool here, he's not an Avenger. But as Happy put it, you're shooting to eye. Shoot for the middle, you'll always hit. You'll always score. And it's like, he's not wrong. Deadpool is not an Avenger. But he's not supposed to be. He's not bottom of the barrel.
No, he's not.
But he's always mid. And that's why he works. Because he shouldn't be something he's not.
Yeah.
But of course, that being put down, now joining the Avengers, put him in a rut. He basically stepped away from everything for 6 years.
Yeah.
And after everything he's gone through with Vanessa, the girlfriend, I'll put it this way, he literally went through time to save her life in the second movie. And he fought so much for her in the first movie. Yeah, you gotta be honest, that's a bit of a screw you to just have it be that they broke up. I mean, it makes sense for the character growth, but even you gotta admit, for someone like me who's seen the first 2 movies, that's a bit of a, really?
Yeah, that kind of reminds me about how I got invested in, like, Thor and Jane's relationship for the first movie, only to have them completely throw what they'd done out the window by the time we hit Dark World. I'm still not over that.
Then Thor fixed it.
Yeah.
Barely
fixed it, yeah.
But,
fixed it about as well as that one phone charging cord that only works when you position it a certain way.
Right. But at least it was able to give us romance there.
Yeah, at least we got something.
But
back to Deadpool.
Deadpool. The TVA brings him in and basically saying, join us, and you can join the sacred timeline. Join the Avengers, but your world's gonna die. And boy, Paradox, but you can so tell Paradox, the moment it was revealed, I offered you, I don't know why, you find out that explains his attitude at the beginning, right? He's like making all those statements, but it's like, you know, there's condemnation. You could tell that even before he revealed it, couldn't you? Like,
yeah, it's just like, this is just him gearing up to give you the big old corporate sales pitch before they tell you what it's actually
but
going
he's so
to cost.
blunt too about it. It's just like, oh, your world's gonna die.
It's just like, I see. You see all of this is just a numbers game.
Exactly. And to be fair, yeah, they used to do what they call pruning, which was basically, okay, just to give a summary, in around the time of Loki season, when we find out there was only one timeline, and they had to keep it that way. And thus, there wasn't a multiverse, there wasn't nothing. And they would destroy anything that would be a divergence. Then things changed, and then they decided to let the great timeline, you know, continue on splintering. And no more pruning, and they can't do it all haphazardly. That's why Paradox saying he wants to bring that back. But basically, also we find out, was Logan dead? And they're like, we had nothing to do with it. It's like, yeah, he just died, and it's like, the world's dying. And I like that. What do you see with this idea of the anchor beings?
I mean, within the context of just universes that are driven more by characters than they are by, like, large overarching plots, at least for the most part, the fact that there could be one person that's so significant that killing them kind of alters the world forever, kind of like when you accidentally kill an important NPC in a video game and now it tells you in your save file that the main timeline's now screwed over. Have fun in your dead world.
And we see about it, Logan's always been the heart of the X-Men universe. Almost every movie was about him in some way, shape, or form. Even when they make it a prequel, they had to fit him in with Days of Future Past. You know what I mean? And so for him to die, that means their world's dying. Makes sense. But he's like, I'm going to accelerate it. Because it should take a long time. Like, you're not even going to notice. Nope, he wants to accelerate. Just get it over and done with. But apparently, and we never get to find what was going on with him and Thor.
I think they kind of just made that as kind of a joke on purpose, but I don't mind it.
They needed some explanation for why they would want to bring Deadpool over, so they kept him like, oh, that's not important though, it's funny. But yeah, so Wade decides, okay, I'm gonna go get a new Deadpool to fill it in, and we go through so many different comic accurate. We get height accurate Wolverine. What did you see about that? Seeing him as, you know, Hugh Jackman, 6 foot tall to now 5'3". Which is like,
and most of the times Deadpool is absolutely getting the crap kicked out of him.
yeah, we saw Patch, him with the eye patch. That's another version. We saw him with Hulk. I love Hulk's cameo, didn't you? And even having Hulk reflecting in the claws. That's from the comics. You had him when he was on the cross, crucified and everything. That happened. You had Henry Cavill, because that was a fan casting.
Okay, that's awesome.
They threw that in. That even says, like, hey, we're going to treat you better than the guys across the street. You had that. You had Age of Apocalypse. That's when he was really bushy, was missing an arm. All of that. And then he's brought in before the worst of the Wolverines. And, okay, let's just get out of the way because they don't really go over that much. Basically, he just kept on avoiding it. And through his inactions, he decided to go get shit-faced while his friends died. They don't explain how, but apparently he did. But then it turns out he went on a berserker rage and killed people and basically made everyone hate mutants because of it. Does that, in the end, would that make him the worst? Well, I guess by comparison to other Wolverines, I guess so. But that was a bit of a letdown, if you ask me. It was a good emotional beat. I will give it that. But that's what makes him the worst? What do you stand on that? Because that just felt a little...
I feel like if they had sort of made him lose faith a little bit
more, as opposed to just constantly drinking.
Yeah, where it's just like something happens that made me lose faith in the cause, and so I walked away. Yeah,
so I'm gonna do that just to keep the light on. But yeah, though. But anyway, he brings up 4 there, and of course, Paradox is like, why would I want this one? You brought the worst one. Things like that. And then basically then they decide, okay, they get sent to the void. And the void was set up in Loki. As we saw other things. We saw Alligator Loki. You've seen about Alligator Loki, right?
Oh, yeah, I've definitely seen the memes about that one.
Yep, among others. So basically, we find out Cassandra Nova is Xavier's sister that never was, is the main villain. What did you think about her? I felt like she was a perfect amalgamation of the prior Xavier actors and the comics, since I've read the comic.
She was definitely a great villain. She was able to, like, chew the scenery a whole lot.
And her fingers.
Oh, her fingers. Those scenes made me viscerally uncomfortable.
And the effects on them were pretty good, weren't they? Like,
yeah, it's just like, yeah.
especially coming out of their nose,
yeah,
like,
yeah, I can feel that. That's uncomfortably believable.
I love how funny she was, but in a way that didn't take away from her intimidation. It's like this, like, she knows she can do whatever she wants.
Yeah, the world is a toy to her, and you know that it's just like, she only shows it often enough to keep you on edge, and the other time she's kind of just playing with you like a cat.
Cause she could just. But anyway, when they first arrive there, they're ready, they're ready to be attacked by a bunch. First, they fight each other. Good fight. That happens twice in the movie, and they both were good either way, wouldn't you say? Because they were both character-driven fights.
Yeah.
But then they meet a hooded figure and then they're surrounded by bad guys, including Sabretooth, Toad, and a few other. And Pyro, at least initially. We'll see more later. And then the hooded figure shows up, and it's Chris Evans. And of course, Wade is like, oh, it's him. Who is it? It's him. He's going to say it. What's he going to say? He's going to say, Avengers of Flame On! It was Johnny! Because you know he was Johnny Storm first, right?
I am suddenly shot back to my memories of watching Silver Surfer in a hotel TV room.
Seriously, that was a good twist, wasn't it? Like the Avengers of Flame On! Wait, what? And then Pyro takes him down, hits himself in the balls. Ouch, I felt that one. And then Wolverine just slices off Sabretooth's head. Anticlimactic, but hey, people were wanting to see some action happen with those two, so at least they got it over and done with. Then they're knocked out, taken away, and that's where we introduce the Cassandra. And then tell people about the joke that's set up. What does Deadpool say about Johnny?
That Johnny said, like, an absolutely absurd, like, string of, like, insults and expletives about
And
her.
of course, we were led to believe that's all Deadpool talking out of his ass or exaggerating things. Because that's something he would do.
It is something he would do.
What
I honestly thought that maybe he ranted about her a little because that would be understandable, and then the Deadpool just exaggerated.
We'll get to that. But then goes Cassandra, takes the skin right off. And I'll be honest, the effects on that I think the effects were meant to be fake. I think, because otherwise that'd be too grotesque, even for R-rated.
Yeah.
I think they realized we can't go too detailed. Because the effects are good in this movie, so I think when they do something like that, it's intentional.
Yeah.
But yeah, they fight, they get away, and then they have some more characterization stuff. More characterizing stuff, because Wade, he wants to save his friends. And there's a point where he even tells Wolverine, hey, do this and they'll fix it. Then we're introduced to Dog Pool. Dog Pool!
Dog Pool!
Or Mary Bobbins or whatever. And we also have Nice Pool. Probably my least favorite character.
Yeah, he was just kind of
I think he's supposed to be that, though.
Yeah, he was just kind of there.
Yep. But he gives them their car, which, oh my God, everything about that, right to it being in the middle of the grass, was like, this is a car commercial. They're not even hiding it. Because, again, how many times have you seen car commercials where they just find the car in the middle of this grassy field, right? And they just hop on in and everything. And then Wade lets slip if. And then she's like, you saying you lied? No, I made an educated wish. An educated wish. I mean, I get what he means, right?
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, I have a reasonable expectation that this might be able to work, and I would like it to work, but I'm not 100% sure.
And boy, I don't blame Logan for being pissed off, do you?
Yeah!
He gave him hope. And then it turns out, you were bullshitting me?
Mhm.
And, oh yeah, one running gag throughout that Wolverine sits constantly want to get wasted. It's like, glug, glug, glug. But yeah, the two have a big, long fight. And it was a funny fight, wasn't it?
Mhm.
And then they're brought before the others. And it's an interesting hodgepodge. You have Jennifer Garner as Elektra. You have Wesley Snipes as Blade. You have Channing Tatum as Gambit, finally. And you got X-23 back. What did you think about those choices? I mean, Snipes, perfect. Makes sense. He's technically the first Marvel. Technically, he is.
Like, I'm not really familiar with a lot of these characters, but they definitely had, like, the bargain bin kind of vibe to them on the whole.
Well, to be honest, they weren't going to bring Affleck back for Daredevil. So I think Elektra, and it's Jennifer Garner. People still recognize her as Elektra. Made sense. And Channing Tatum, that was for the nerds. Because anyone who's been keeping an eye knew he had been wanting. He was so close to playing Gambit. He was casted for a movie. They were ready to go in and they canceled it. And I was doing this, and they kept making references like, I think I was bored here. Stuff like that. I'm like, I love that. And then X-23, I like that was her there and everything. And I like that, yeah, they talk sense into Logan. They realize, we get like, oh, is Magneto here? He dead. Fuck. And then, but then it's like, oh, his helmet. She melted it down after she killed him. Fuck! I love that. Again, Snipes just playing is so deadpan, right?
Yeah.
I was like, aren't you retired? Retarded? No, retired. Hey, I just got back. I don't want to get canceled again. I love some of those jokes like that. But they decide, yeah, we'll help you because we're just tired of sitting on our asses. And they got right there. They get the Juggernaut's helmet. X-23 has a good time. And this is where we find out about Logan's backstory a bit more. Not all of it, but some of it. Again, you do get to a degree why he's that way. And we also find out he didn't want to wear the costume. The others wanted him to wear it. I like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, so they go in, big fight. We even have Lady Deathstrike and Callisto and others there. That big fight and everything. They make their way in. X-23 takes out their head. Blade says, these motherfuckers are still trying to ice skate out hell. That's a reference to his first movie. And then Cassandra Nova knocks him around before then going further into Logan's mind, and we find out about him going berserker. But then Wade puts the Juggernaut's helmet on her, and it turns out Pyro is working for Paradox. Shoots her, but then we find out that, I love that bit with Logan, didn't you? About how he's saying, like, and Charles wouldn't want you to die. In fact, if he knew you were here, he would have been smashed through the universe to find you.
Yeah, I liked that.
And I do think she sincerely was going to let them go until she found out the TVA was responsible for her getting shot. Did you feel that way, that she was sincerely letting them go? Yeah, it felt that way. It felt like, I owe you my life. But then when she found out the TVA screwed her, she's like, fuck it, all bets are off. So she comes there. They have a thing called a Time Ripper that's what they're going to use. And then she shows up and starts to take the information from Paradox and brings the Deadpool core.
Ooh.
Led by Lady Deadpool, voiced by Blake Lively, that's Ryan Reynolds' wife, and Kidpool, voiced by one of his kids.
Oh.
We have Kidpool, Baby Pool, we have all these other Headpool, so many. Nice Pool gets killed off. Turns out he doesn't regenerate, of course.
Yep.
And we see Wolverine finally wear his full costume with the mask and everything. What did you think about that? Him wearing the mask. That was great. Felt a little weird, but but it worked though. It worked. They fight their way through the Deadpools, and then Peter shows up. If you've seen Deadpool 2, that's who that is. Best buddy. Everyone at all the Deadpools love him.
And that's how they end up getting past them. Not the epic fight sequence, but them all...
Well, we did get an epic fight sequence, of course, but then they regenerate. So it's like, yeah, how do you stop them? Well, Peter shows up. They go down there. They have to deal with Cassandra. And Deadpool's ready to make a big sacrifice. And Logan's, they're both ready to do it. Now, to be fair, if anybody was to do it, it would have been Deadpool, because if Logan goes, his world is dead. So, but, oh, hold on a sec. There we go. Sorry about that. Anyway, they end up, uniting arms to stop it, and Cassandra gets blown up. And then, turns out, Logan's gonna stay. Him being there is strengthening the timeline. I like that.
Yeah, although we got this wonderful scene where it's like Paradox assumes they're dead.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
That, like, if they actually knew the truth about what happened, he is so in trouble. So he gets this like dramatic speech.
Yeah, but like they were
heroes. Heroically gave
and
lives, and then they show up.
Fuck! I love it. Fuck! He's really like, I am so screwed.
Yeah, and
that was
they were
great.
correct. By linking hands and listening to Madonna music, they're invincible.
Oh, and Wolverine's shirt blows off, and everyone's like, And thus Paradox is being dealt with, and Logan gets to stay. Dogpool is fine. They're gonna help some of them. We definitely see X-23 staying with Logan. I like that. And I think she's she's back in her own proper timeline. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And then Deadpool gets back together with Vanessa, and we end with a love letter to the Fox universe, with showing all the behind the scenes stuff. And then we find out, turns out, Johnny said everything. And he said, and you could quote me. Okay.
And you could quote me.
And he said even more. He said even more stuff. You can still tell Chris Evans was just shooting off. You can still tell Chris Evans was just having a blast, because he couldn't do it as Cap. So him doing it. Now, granted, this was so out of character for Johnny, but it didn't matter.
Yeah, it really didn't.
But, okay, I mean, I know, we kind of breezed through it, but the funny thing is, it's mostly character stuff. The plot points are kind of bare.
Yeah, but it didn't...
Oh, no, not in a bad way. Not in a bad way.
Yeah, it's more like...
Trying to find the right words.
Yeah, trying to find the right words for it.
And it's character moments strung together by a decent plot. Not a thin plot, but a decent plot that's keeping it together in a good way. And I mean that in a good way, not a bad way. And the acting was all phenomenal. That's what really sold all of this, didn't it?
Yeah.
Especially Ryan and Hugh. You could tell the chemistry between those two and everything. And seeing Hugh get to do different ranges with his character. Again, stuff that he couldn't do with the old X-Men stuff, because they were, to be honest, broad stroking the comic accuracy. This is the universe that had what'd you expect? Yellow spandex? Like I say, I loved in X-Men 97. What do you expect? Black leather? I love that. That was the most perfect pot shot. But seeing him in the outfit, that felt just so natural, didn't it? It felt so natural, him in that outfit. Him with Deadpool, just felt like this had to happen, didn't? That's the one thing I would feel like. This movie felt like everything here had to happen. There was nothing here that felt forced or stood out. It felt like you had to fit in the Deadpool core. You had to fit in the send-off to the Fox universe.
Yeah, it sort of felt like they started with the base premise of, okay, we have to get Deadpool and Wolverine together, but how do we do that? And I kind of felt like they spiraled out, but then they naturally found that all of these other elements slotted in.
Now, there's one downside. It's using Cassandra as a one-off. That's the one downside, because now we're not going to see her in any other movie, and it felt like she should. But I feel like for here, this is the Fox version of her, not any other. So I'm sure they could find a way to bring her in if other writers want to. But overall, this was just so fun. This felt like this was a love letter. Or, wait, what would you say better? A love letter or a send-off? Because it felt more one or the other. I don't think it felt that much like both.
This sort of felt like a Viking funeral fire where you're like sending it off in a blaze of glory.
Definitely. That's the best way. And the fact they showed it with all that, again, with the credits, right? Because that felt like, oh, this is love. And they only fit in one thing from the Fan 4-stick movie, thank God, because that was an abomination. But, seriously, there was just so much to like in here. But is it perfect? No.
No? But I had a lot of fun, and it was exactly what it needed to be.
Yeah, I mean, Spider-Verse No Way, and Spider-Man No Way Home, this is not. But it had a lot of the vibes of it, wouldn't you say?
Good time it is? Yes.
Yes, definitely. But again, it's just anything that's negative, I can't really put into words. It's just a gut feeling, you know what I mean? It's like, nowhere near this perfection. Nowhere near this one of the best movies I've ever seen. No way is it anywhere near -1. But
it's solid.
I can't say anything bad, but it's that gut feeling, you know what I mean? Where you're like, I can't give it full accolades, but I don't know what else to say bad about it. Again, besides a few nitpicks I have, but you know what I mean, right? It's just that whole thing where it's your gut telling you.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing much else. Anything else you want to add about this?
Not really. I think I've said everything that needs to be said.
And if this is their farewell, which everything is pointed that it is, I can't, because let's be honest, yes, they leave the door open, but they're not going to the MCU. So I think this is meant to close the door, that they're staying in Earth 1005, and that's it. They toyed with the MCU, but they're staying home. Did that feel that way to you?
Yeah.
It felt like, yeah, like I said, all this is a send-off, and if they want to one day, sure, but I don't think so. I feel like this is the farewell.
Yeah.
They put in so much into this. But yeah, thank you guys for listening in, and go check it out. See you guys on the next one.